Commence primary ignition.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
What a piece of junk.
Enterprise, this is the captain.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It's all part of the plan.
Engage.
Welcome back to Podcast 2 for 1. I am your host, Donovan Thomas, with my co-host,
Daniel Wingfield.
And today we are reviewing The Little Things.
Yes, we are. An interesting film, to say the least.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell below. That way you're up to date on all future episodes of Podcast 2 for 1. And of course, all the cool content we have at 2 for 1 Studios, like 2 for 1 Collectors and 2 for 1 Backflash. Daniel?
Yeah.
Let's talk The Little Things.
Yeah, let's talk The Little Things.
Yeah. So we know it has Denzel Washington, got Jared Leto and Rami Malek.
Yep.
All these guys are Academy Award winners.
If you saw any of the trailers, you knew that.
Yeah,
because that's what the trailers were.
They definitely lean into that. And then, of course, we know this is like the first, or not the first, but the second HBO Max movie that's come day in, day out with theaters and also on HBO Max. The first being Wonder Woman 1984.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like their first 2021 rollout.
Right. And just so you know, because I didn't know this about Wonder Woman 1984, because I don't pay attention, I guess. But The Little Things is only on HBO Max till I think February 28th.
Yeah, it's 30 days from the release.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's...
So,
yeah.
I mean, if you got nothing else to do in the next 30 days, I guess watch it. But we'll get to more on that later.
Spoiler alert. No, yeah. So, you know, this was... that's my first question, actually, Daniel.
Yeah.
I know whenever the trailer dropped, funny enough, you sent it to me first. And you were kind of like, hey, this is right up your alley.
Yep.
And I watched it. I was like, oh, man, this looks really fun. And like, of course, I'm a big serial killer, like media kind of guy. I love Hannibal, love Silence of the Lambs, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Just like, well, I know you do too. So I was excited for this movie because we don't really get these kind of movies anymore, at least on the big screen. And technically, this isn't the big screen, right? But we know that it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
We can kind of go into
it's big screen production value.
Right, exactly.
Especially the cast and everything about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So leading up to it, I was kind of keeping my eye on it, and I saw a couple of reviews, and I was like, okay, I'm going to check this out. And I watched it by myself at the apartment. And, you know, I didn't hate the movie. I really didn't hate it. But I definitely thought that there was something to be desired. And the ending a little bit kind of, not threw me, but kind of
we'll
like
get to that. We'll hold our spoilers. For a little bit.
And
we'll
this is a spoiler cast. This is a spoiler cast.
But just in case you're just popping in for a quick impression, yeah.
You know, I enjoyed all the performances. No, you're good. I enjoyed all the performances. I also, I like Denzel Washington a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's like one of those weird actors. I don't know if you know this statistic or not. I think the last 10 movies he's had, every one of them makes over $100 million in the box office in North America. So he's very bankable. That being said,
yeah, producers love that.
Yeah, no matter what, he makes $100 million. And these are always low budget movies like The Equalizer 2, all that kind of stuff. So I was excited, and also seeing Rami in like a role that wasn't, where it's more serious in terms of maybe good guy serious.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, so I was kind of
one of the few times.
Yeah, so I was excited to kind of see that. We have James Bond later this year with him. And Jared Leto, of course, is Jared Leto, and you don't really know what you're going to get with him. And
I feel like he doesn't act anymore. He's just being Jared Leto on set while the cameras rolling.
There was this great article. Denzel was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to tolerate that kind of stuff about him. Like, I wouldn't let him do method like to the extent that he has done in the past."
Okay.
But then he went on to say that he actually followed him in real life to kind of like get in a character. Denzel did. And I'm like, okay. All right, Denzel. Anyway, the movie is something left to be desired. I'm really curious what you say about it, and we can really kind of talk about what works and what doesn't work. Go on.
Yeah, so obviously I was excited about this movie. To give a little bit of context, I rewatched 7 Friday night.
Bad idea.
And it's been a while since I'd seen it, and it was 7.
No, sorry, good idea. Bad idea to do for this movie.
Yeah. And I hadn't like particularly planned on watching this movie this weekend. Like I'd planned on watching it, but it wasn't like urgent to me. And then, we talked over the weekend. We're like, let's do the podcast about this. Let's review this movie. And so I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I just watched 7. So it may skew my opinion a little bit, just I guess be forewarned. But I watched the movie and I was along for the ride probably 90% of the way. There was a few scenes, and I'll talk about them in a minute, that I'm like, that feels a little, you're trying too hard, or you're trying to make this bigger emotional moment when it should just be kind of a cut and dry serial killer story for me.
I know exactly what scene you're talking about.
There's a couple, but yeah, you probably do.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it never comes back up. And we'll get to that. But then the end, it just completely shifts. And it's not just that it's an anticlimactic finale, because it is. It's very anticlimactic. It doesn't give you any of the answers you really want. It implies a lot of things, but the way the story shifts to be kind of from like a serial killer movie and about a killer and crimes to about the characters investigating it all of a sudden, kind of at the end. And then we just resolve by having kind of these character moments instead of having anything to do with the plot, or very tangentially, or very little plot is given. So it's one of those things where I just come away so dissatisfied. And then I start thinking back after, I watch that, I'm like, that's very dissatisfying in a way of an end. And then I start kind of thinking back through the movie, and I just kind of starts realizing it started feeling to me very disparate, where you've got almost like two different tones at times, even the music. We'll get to the music, but there are times where I was like, what is this feel-good family drama music doing in a murder mystery? It was weird to me. All that to say, I had a lot of problems with this movie.
I was on pain med, so maybe I wasn't seeing some of this
He had
stuff.
his wisdom teeth taken out, by the way. We'll give some context to that. Yeah. He wasn't just, popping pills that we know of.
Pop a few right now. Go on.
Yeah. I had major problems with the film. I thought it was very disappointing. I thought that times it had moments of greatness, where there was even some stretches where like the growing dread or like the building tension really worked.
Right.
But then when you got to the end, it made all that tension feel meaningless by the end to me, in some way. So that's my impressions. That's my spoiler-free thoughts.
Can you, real quick for me and the listeners, can you kind of explain to me the plot, like in a very bare bones way, real quick?
I'll do my best. So now we're getting into spoilers. So if you want to get off this train, now's your chance. I'll give you 10 seconds. No, fuck you. No, that's way too long. Better be gone by now.
I don't got 10 seconds.
No, I don't either. So the movie starts out with Denzel Washington. The movie starts out with a girl being chased on the highway at first by a car. And then she does the classic horror movie thing and pulls over to an abandoned gas station and gets chased on foot. And we think this is going to be maybe the inciting crime or whatever. And then she, at the last second, stops a 18-wheeler and is saved. But we fade to black. It's very ominous. And we assume she's saved. We don't see much more than the truck stopping. Right. But the assumption is she's saved. And then we catch up with Joe Deacon, or Deke, which is Denzel Washington's character, and who is a former LA detective. He's now living out in kind of the boonies of like LA County or just California. And I'm trying to remember what we find him doing at the very beginning. He's not really doing anything. He's just kind of like working, and then they're like, "Hey, we need you to go bring some boots, bloody boots, evidence. We need you to go to LA and bring some evidence or something." Basically, like,
I honestly don't hear.
It was like go to LA. They're like it was for a testimony or something, or like they were almost done with them, but they need to bring them back for trial. It was vaguely. It's a MacGuffin.
He gets there. Who cares? He gets there.
No point at all.
Yeah. Ex-cop. He used to run the investigative crime unit. He doesn't anymore.
Right.
And there's kind of some tension between him and the.
And we'll get to that later because
him and the old
like questionable
boss,
tension.
And he's like, you shouldn't be here. You should be on vacation.
Right. He's like leave as soon as possible. Basically.
Yeah. And Rami Malek is like the new Denzel.
Yeah.
Denzel left 5 years ago. Rami's up now, and he's leading the crime unit basically, and he's trying to solve all these crimes. Of course, we have a killer on the loose.
Yes.
And the town itself is actually kind of like, of course, dead bodies are showing up. So it's like, why aren't you, the police, doing anything about
Pressure's on. The pressure of the media is on. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, at the point that he's there, I think, 3 bodies have been found? Or 4? Something like that. And of course, He's in the evidence room catching up with someone a colleague. They make some vague remarks and they show her necklace with like a busted bullet on it, like a bullet that like is shattered, mid shatter.
Yeah. Well, it looks like. Did you know it was a bullet the first time you saw it?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was a flower.
No, I mean, at first I did too, and I was like, oh, that's a bullet that's been like smashed.
Yeah, I thought it was a flower. So,
but you were on pain meds, so
that's true.
That helps. Everything looks like flowers on pain meds, guys. Believe me.
But you get the impression that all these people he's worked with, and Rami Malek also has this like, he heard about the guy he replaced. Yeah. It's almost like he didn't earn his stripes. He just replaced.
Well, I think I didn't read it like that. I read it as like he just was feeling the social awkwardness of having the guy that used to be doing your job back, and he was really good at it.
That's what I mean.
Now you're there and you're young and you're still having to prove your stripes. 100%. Not so much that he didn't do it, but just that he's still young and still earning his reputation.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So he kind of brings him along and he kind of starts running. Denzel
realizes that the MO of these new murders matches murders that he had investigated 5 years ago. And there's already some rumblings and like they're like they give some hints that whatever happened with those murders is also why he's not there anymore.
You know what's also interesting? The Night Stalker documentary just came out on Netflix. Yeah, I
know. And then they mentioned that.
They mentioned that. Yeah. And then I was like, that's weird timing. Like it was
that's right timing.
I mean, it's weird timing that like in our world that it come out like after the documentary.
Oh,
and this takes place in the 90s.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it was a good documentary series, by the way. Good on Netflix.
I just thought it was interesting.
Pretty gory. So if you're not into that, don't. Or graphic, I'd say. But so he goes along and Rami Malek kind of at first like coldly invites him along and almost like a show, like he's going to show him. I don't know. It almost feels like he's going to like bring him along to like show him how good he is at first. So it's almost just kind of cocky. And then as they investigate and even Denzel starts helping, he finds some things that maybe they wouldn't have found and helps him, and so Rami starts trusting him, and it basically turns into a buddy cop movie.
Sure.
With them two.
Yeah, it does.
And they're doing all this investigation, and kind of the main thing that starts happening is that we start having these moments with Denzel Washington where he's at first, I think when I was watching, I thought he was looking at the current murders. Even when he was in his room, we find him in his room and he's shining a flashlight. That's what I thought
he was doing too.
And he's looking at people that had just recently been killed. And then he's looking at them on the wall, and then they're in the room. And the way they shoot it is like the first girl's like at the foot of his bed and she's like naked, and they shoot it. They don't show her, any nudity, but like they shoot it in a way that like you can tell she's naked from like a profile view. And at first, and he's sleeping in a hotel, but it's like the hooker hotel. So I was like, oh, did he get a hooker? At first, like I was like, oh,
I thought the same thing.
Which honestly, I was like, okay, it makes him maybe more of an interesting, like not just by the book goody two shoes character. Could be interesting. Yeah. But
I thought at first she was a hooker.
I did too.
And he was paying her to sit there while he looked at crime photos. I legit thought that. Because she's just sitting there because he looks at a hooker before he walks in, before that scene happens. Yeah. So it kind of makes you think that he's picking up a hooker. So
right, and they totally did it on purpose.
But it kind of ended up showing like these are ghosts that are kind of haunting him, right? And his psyche.
You understand that when the two other ones show up in the closet in nightgowns, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand now.
And they got blood on them.
It's kind of this drawn out scene. I can't remember if he talks to them there. He might, or he might just stare at them.
Know. It's a little melodramatic.
It's highly melodramatic, and this will be a theme.
The scene that I'm particularly, maybe this is after. I think it's before. Later. It was whenever he talks to the dead body.
Yeah, this is pretty soon after that.
Is it? Okay, so it's after. So whenever I saw that.
I think it's on either side, but honestly, it doesn't matter because none of these scenes matter.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, he finds another investigation shortly after he's kind of roped in with Rami Malek.
Yeah.
And he ends up wanting to, with the woman who has the bullet, she's an autopsy lady.
Yeah.
And he basically says, hey, can, you check something out for me?
It's the file from the old.
Yeah. And then while she's doing that, he's there with the dead body.
Right.
And basically he talks to her like, I'm your only friend.
It's really weird.
It's really, really weird.
It's really strange. And
it feels like a very Denzel scene.
It feels like it was written for Denzel.
Yeah.
But it should have been in Remember the Titans. Okay?
Yeah.
Like that's how I honestly felt. I was like, this feels like a Denzel Remember the Titans, like looking at like a picture of his dead granddad and like, like, wow, you'd be so proud of me or something like that. Like that would work. But he's talking to a dead body of a girl he never knew. And
there's something about the themes they're talking about where we're angels and we're watching over people, even the dead ones, and like it's our job to kind of solve the case. That way they can rest. There's something there, but I just don't think they're executing it in a good way.
It doesn't. I mean, like, yeah, right. So they get to this idea. Well, first of all, Denzel eventually.
We're not doing a good job explaining this plot.
But if you've seen it, you're following. I mean, be honest. Ram, he eventually tells Rami what happened 5 years ago. That they found 3 victims, 2 on a rock and 1 else, next to the trees or whatever. And it was very similar to the MO then of now. And then basically we find out that he got so focused on it. He got divorced. He
had a heart attack.
And just kind of had just stopped being able to function because he was so hung up on this, which, is a typical cop movie trope. I mean, that's like, the cop that can't let go of the case and it drives him and his family divorces him and he's now the lonely drunk. It's like a very...
I felt like, yeah, you're right. I just felt like I've never seen a movie lean so much into that side of it.
It felt really strange to me once we understood what happened that like the people were being so like dicks to him. Like the department, it was like, it sounds like you're making it sound like he like blew a case.
It's what it seemed like, but yeah, but exactly.
You didn't say that he did that. Like it doesn't feel like it feels like they're treating him with more of an ostracization, like than he's earned.
In defense, the one that treats him the worst is the captain, and there's a reason why he does that. And you kind of
don't give it.
Yeah, they do at the end.
But he doesn't know that, does he?
He's there with them. That's why he does that.
Are you sure that's the captain?
Yeah, he's him and the girl.
I mean, I know that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. We'll get to that.
So anyway,
Jared Leto. They finally find Jared Leto.
Sure.
And he's like, of course he's the killer. He checks all the boxes. They do some minor detectiving.
But he doesn't. But he does and he doesn't. Like for me, whenever you're watching the movie, the first scene, I honestly thought Denzel might be the killer. Because
the first scene? Oh, in the opening of the movie?
Yeah, I thought he might be the killer but when I saw the trailer, I was like, will he be the killer just in general? He'd be the big twist. I thought that, and then in the opening, when you see the guy, you're like looking like, okay, I don't look like real Denzel, but it might be just doing like one of those stupid movie things.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm like, it don't look like Jared Leto. Like the guy's hair
it didn't look look like him.
I mean, he don't have long hair.
Could have put his hair in a ponytail.
Yeah, but it just doesn't really look like him.
You just justified the way they could have done it with Denzel, and you're not willing to give that same option.
But you can look at body language. But the body language that he uses, it just didn't seem right. It didn't seem right.
I mean, it felt to me that it was just obviously Jared Leto. The movie advertised him as that in the trailers, basically.
But he's not. I mean, spoiler. Yeah, I don't think he is. I don't.
I mean, it's ambiguous, but it seems there's a lot of things that lead us to still believe he probably could be
ambiguous. But I don't know.
And that's part of the frustration for me is that the movie doesn't really care if we know.
It doesn't,
basically,
which also upsets me too.
It's just it feels like. Okay, so
just explain the rest of the movie real quick.
Big plot, yeah. Big picture is Rami and Denzel are like obsessed with him. Yeah. The captain says no, the feds are coming next week, so they've got 2 days, and they're like, getting him out of the house and trying to dig through his stuff, and they don't find anything conclusive. And they're just tailing him, and then basically he knows that. I mean, Jared Leto's toying with him the whole time. It's the classic smart like guy that's toying with the police in whatever way. I mean, he's displaying classic serial killer MO. Like, I mean, for that type of serial killer.
If he didn't kill these people, he killed somebody.
Exactly.
And so, I'm not sure he's the killer. Based on what the movie is trying to tell us.
I still think there's enough evidence, and we'll get to some of it in a minute. But basically, he comes out. Denzel goes to get coffee. He's like, hey, Rami Malek, come with me, and I'll show you where the body is. Because the other part is, obviously, Denzel has these people that he's obsessed with. In the process of this, Rami Malek becomes obsessed with this girl that's disappeared. She hasn't been found dead. She was a runner. She has a red beret. That's all they know. But that also felt really weak to me. Like, it just felt like
kind of weak the more we talk about it.
It is, but it was just like, he was like, I don't remember. He was like having a hard time. And then he just went over to the house and was like, I will find your daughter. And then he left, and it was like, oh, I guess he's obsessed with her now. Like, that's how they were going to tell us
that. There's a lot of things I didn't think were earned and just character-wise.
So
the most consistent character is Jared Leto's character, in my opinion.
He's probably the best performance too.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, but him and Rami Malek. I did like a lot of Rami's performance. I don't think he had a lot to work with.
I think Rami was the worst, not because he was bad, just because he was just like a regular beat cop. Not regular beat cop.
I prefer that over the melodramatic, hyper philosophical Denzel.
Yeah, but Denzel is so good. Like, there's something about Denzel. He's a good actor.
He's a good actor, but it's like the same Denzel role I've seen in 10 Denzel movies, and I don't think it works as well in this.
It don't matter.
Work. No, it does matter. Being that kind of Denzel does not work in a serial killer film.
Sidebar. Have you ever seen The Equalizer?
Yeah.
Like it?
Yeah.
Dude, that's good.
Those like Man on Fire.
Equalizer so good.
Classic.
Man. You watch Equalizer 2?
I don't think so.
It's not as good as the first one, but it's also good.
No, I love some classic Denzel.
Recent.
Dude, I love him in Remember the Titans. He's fantastic. I like some classic Denzel.
I was just curious.
But to me, he played like, again, this like slightly sad Disney version of Denzel. And anyway, okay, so Jared Leto's like, hey, Rami Malek, I'll show you where the body is of that girl that you haven't found yet, the girl he's obsessing over. But I'll only show you. Don't bring Denzel. And so they drive off. Denzel obviously sees them leaving and chases them. And there's this long, drawn out sequence of them driving into the
around
wilderness.
With Denzel finding clues.
Slowly tracking them. And it just felt like, okay, this is going on a long time. And they, obviously end on the classic, like they go down this gate and the lock's unhitched. And that's what tells Denzel where they are.
People are so confused with what's fucking happening in this movie.
It's not good.
Anyway,
they get to this big like plot dirt area, and then Jared's like, it's there, and he digs. He's like, oh wait, no, I forgot, it's over there. And of course, we know he's toying with him, and there probably is no body. And he's just repeatedly like berating Rami Malek. He's like, I saw a picture of your kids. They're so sweet. It would be like monologuing as a serial killer. Like he's giving them no reason to believe he's not the serial killer. Right. And then Rami snaps and smacks him with a shovel. And he's dead, apparently. Apparently, it's a good old smack.
Got him.
I mean, and it felt like, but yeah, he smacks him and he's dead. And Denzel shows up right after the fact, of course.
Not wrapped. I mean, maybe wrapped the fact.
It was pretty.
I mean, there was a time change.
There was a slight fade.
Yeah.
Or cross dissolve. Yes.
Kind of like he killed him in the dark, and he got there, and he was crisscrossed in the light.
Yeah, exactly.
I assume it was morning time. So
okay.
That's why it seemed like it might have been like 4 a.m. and he killed him.
Was it that early?
Like 6 a.m.
I didn't think it was getting that bright yet. You might be right.
It was bright.
So yeah, Denzel shows up, and immediately we get a flashback to when we've been flashing back several times to the crime scene when they discovered the 3 victims 5 years ago. And we do one more, and it just like shows us more of what happened, which is they heard a noise and they think the guy's still there, and they turn a corner, and I don't know. I thought like someone startled Denzel. There's basically this whatever happens, and Denzel just shoots this random chick jogging, and it hits her like right in the chest, and she dies.
It's the bullet from the.
It's the bullet from the necklace, but it's just like this really weird and just feels like random reveal.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's random.
It's not random because they built up to it, but it doesn't.
Here's the big issue with it is that it's not cool enough to be a reveal.
No,
and B, it also doesn't. It's not shot well. It doesn't. It's not shot well enough to show that I can see why this cop would shoot this
exactly.
person. It's literally like the way the camera work is in my memory is like he could have totally known that it wasn't the killer.
And but they don't. But the way the movie treats it is like it wasn't really his fault.
100%. And I think it's supposed to be that way.
Sure.
I'm saying the movie just ports it like he's a dumbass, like a complete dumbass. Right.
So what?
And the captain covers for him, which is why he wants to get out of town. Because of course the captain.
See, I didn't realize that was the captain.
Yeah, the captain's there.
Okay.
And then they take the body in, and the woman who has the autopsy, she's like, she died by a different way. And so, but she's wearing the bullet to remember that they did something horrible. All these people really covered for him. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy that they actually they're all complicit in this murder, and they straight up, they're not really good people anymore. All these people that you've been kind of following.
No, but you know what? The movie doesn't feel that way.
The movie says
it's okay. The movie feels like they're fine.
No, it does.
And it plays this weird ass like piano lick. Let me find it.
This is the first on 2 for 1. You're getting some music. 62 episodes in. We got to mix it up every now.
Okay.
But no, it's
on Spotify. Hold on, real quick.
Looks not like
That
Little
is not the
Things.
right Little Things.
It's a rom-com. Little Things is the rom-com. I think the big issues with the movie, I like the stuff with Jared Leto in it. I like Rami Malek and all them. I think that the relationship that Rami and Denzel have by the end of the movie is not earned.
No.
Because to me, like whenever Denzel has like this, like almost like breakdown, Rami's like, "Don't you do it? Don't you go back there? Like, don't you like,
when does Denzel have a breakdown?
He has like some type of like mental something happening, and he's like basically trying to tell him like, you're okay. Blah, blah, blah. It just
Denzel's doing that to Rami.
Maybe I thought it was the other way around or something, but
like after Jared Leto's dead.
No, it's just somewhere in the middle of the movie or something. But he's trying to give him like a pep talk or something, and it just doesn't feel like they're like oh, you're batting for this guy, like your guys are like been brothers for 3 years, like you've been known each other for 2 days, and it just doesn't feel earned, And I think the movie's well shot, it's well acted, and most of it's competently staged in terms of like camera placement and actors and that kind of stuff. But then you just kind of get weird stuff with like, mainly the big thing for me, placement wise, was when Denzel kills the girl. And the big reveal at the end, of course, is that Rami, of course, feels like he killed Jared Leto, and he doesn't know if he's the killer or not. Denzel goes back, basically gets rid of all of Jared Leto's stuff, and he ends up sending Rami Malek. He ends up sending Rami Malek a beret that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Just music. All right. Pausing from the review here. Spoilers, by the way.
They don't know what's.
Well, how we've told them everything already. This sounds fine, Daniel. Maybe you're on payment.
What? No way. Hold on. Here we go. At the end. Here we go.
You don't like this?
It belongs in secondhand line. Okay, listen. It's like a wistful. Kidding me?
Yeah, I can see that.
Are you kidding me? That reveal is happening? This sounds like the end of
Hey,
a
we're all
fucking Touched by an Angel.
Hey, we're all happy.
Or it sounds like this.
No,
To
dude,
give
it's good.
context, this music is alongside the reveal that Denzel Washington completely faked any of the evidence that could have confirmed Jared Leto and was the killer and give Rami Malek any peace. So basically, we confirm he's a liar, and they're both just covering up murders that they as cops did. And this is how the movie wants you to feel about it. Do you hear that? Do you hear that peaceful synthesizer fading into the night
Dude.
to make you feel like everything is great?
Hey, they got away with crime. Everything is great. I could have.
God, dude. Okay, now, I want to give a little commentary of what you were saying just a second ago. The reveal, right, that when Denzel pulls up and it's like, oh, Rami Malek killed him, and we see the flashback, it's like that's a big character turn for Denzel. It feels like where he kind of goes into like go mode, where he's like, I'll take care of it. You do this. You do this. Don't, like, he gives him that speech, like, don't, and he gives him the second little things speech. It's the little things, Jimmy. Like, don't do this, don't do that. It's dead. He's dead. Don't let him come up from the grave. If you think about it, if you pull the file, he will come up from the grave and haunt you. So don't do it. Which is basically telling him to compartmentalize a murder you made. Don't think about it. Don't get therapy for it. Just hide it and don't talk about it.
Yeah. Well,
maybe drink about it, but don't talk about it.
There's some. Well, it seems like he's what the movie I think wants you to think or feel is that Denzel's been through this. He doesn't want this other person that he now cares about to go through what he went through, and so he's taken the burden away from him of that he potentially killed an innocent person.
Okay,
and
you're right. But why does Denzel do that? And what was Denzel's character arc that brought him there? Like, what happened in the plot of this film that made Denzel, for one, come out of his like depression shell? There's also that weird scene where he goes to see his wife.
I never thought
ex-wife.
I never really thought he was depressed. I thought from the moment the movie started to the moment the movie ended, he was on a mission to find the killers, and his mission is still the same.
And he fails.
He does fail.
And it seems like he's fine with that. He goes home and puts his legs up.
Everyone else is the people who are telling you that he has depression, he had a heart attack, that he's sad.
Well, I'm saying, but he's not.
He never says these things.
He doesn't seem like a happy person.
Well, no.
He seems happier at the end of the movie than he does at the end.
I think that's just the music. He seems the same to me. Watching that out there, he seems exactly the same as he when he walked in. I'm serious.
Maybe so. He just feels like he's like exasperated with the job.
Here's the thing. Those people, the reason why you're feeling this way is that the filmmakers had these other characters tell you about Denzel to throw you off about what happened in the flashback or why he is. That's why, and that's why you feel frustrated. It's that reason.
I guess so, but
his character never changed. Him looking at dead bodies.
You're right, and so he's a very, very, very weak protagonist, just in that sense.
Yeah,
he has no arc.
The character really is
Rami Malek.
Is Rami, but he also has a weak arc because he doesn't learn anything other than he doesn't learn anything. He learns
to
like
not be an angel.
He doesn't learn anything. He just experiences something. He doesn't really learn anything.
I feel like there's this maybe idea that he's now an experienced detective. He's been through it.
And that's the thing that I think that you could pull from it. Yeah.
But again,
which is a dangerous message.
But you're not happy with him. Like, you're not like happy for him. He's not. I don't sit there thinking, wow, he's going to be a better detective now. I don't.
No, I mean, it's a failing for the movie for sure. Yeah, it is. It does feel though when Jared Leto's off the map that it's probably, no matter if he was innocent or not, it's probably a good thing because that guy's unstable.
But that's a problem too. That the movie is trying to tell you that, like, well, yeah, they murdered someone without evidence, and there's still no evidence. So like.
No, it's problematic.
But you know what? He probably did it.
What's even more problematic?
It's not a big deal that he's dead.
What's even more problematic, and it's funny, it's interesting that HBO Max is doing this, is this movie in the climate we're in today.
Yes.
And on top of that, they've even recently come out talking about their new Batman TV show. And that Batman TV show is supposed to directly
trying to handle the police and like the relationship between police and the public in a nuanced way.
Exactly.
And then this is just like, I mean, like I saw this Jared Leto interview where he was like, this movie is like a relic of the past in just terms of style and genre. Like they don't make these kind of movies anymore. And you even said something like that. But I almost feel like that's no truer than just in the themes and the message that the movie has of, they used to make these movies when police corruption was just totally okay. This is a movie like when they used to make movies about hero cops that killed hundreds of people in a day. You know what I mean? Like, you're right.
It is complicated. I can't lie. There's a part of me that enjoys the part that, I mean, even look at every superhero movie, these people are breaking the law. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I'm not hung up on that.
No, I know. I'm just saying I know. I'm just saying it's interesting. It's interesting. There's a line.
I think it's more about what the movie is. The movie is about this. It's about a cover up. It's about multiple cover ups. It's about cops covering for each other when they make mistakes that lead to death of innocent people.
See, that's the thing. I don't think
that's like the plot revolves around two cover-ups.
That's the plot. I'm not sure that's what the movie wants to say. You're
right, but it can't not. It just chooses to basically not comment on that or not pretend like it just kind of ignores that while that's obviously an issue.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And it's like, let's just make this about the characters and them learning to let go of people. You know what I mean? And then, oh man, it's a fucking mess.
The movie would have been better. Here's how you fix the ending a little bit: is if you have Denzel, either you never have him meet his wife ever in the movie,
which was a random ass throwaway scene that felt like it meant nothing, which is common.
Honestly, that could have happened after. They could have just rearranged that.
And it just been that one scene where he sees her and leaves.
They could have rearranged it, but I'm saying the whole point is maybe you make that like his touching point with his old life, and then after this he goes and talks to his wife or something, and you kind of see this sense that he's trying to go back to a sense of normalcy. You know what I'm saying? That's how you fix it. I'm not to say fix it. That's the direction you need to go. It wouldn't fix it.
Here's how you fix it. Here's how you fix it.
With what they gave us.
You show Denzel doing almost exactly what we see him doing, and maybe even you show him like there's no way he did it, like kind of confirming that Jared Leto was definitely innocent somehow. And you give it a darker tone and ending, and you end with this kind of unsettling Denzel character, and you acknowledge that, and that's what it's about. Almost.
I mean, I would have liked it better if
it's like
if
this
he actually
dark
had found
side.
the beret and actually sent it to him, and that confirmed
it was an actual beret,
and he confirmed to us that was the actual killer.
That twist was just seen a mile away. It was like, you know what I mean? Like when he got there, I was like, that's not the beret.
I didn't really think
he bought a pack. I just knew it. I just, from everything that had happened, again, you're right, that weird relationship we're expecting them to have, because like Denzel like kisses him on the cheek at the like, and he's like, you could do this, son, and he's like, and he's just like, what?
Yeah,
why are you talking to me like this? You guys have never talked like this.
I know.
It's just weird.
You make me not like this movie more.
It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, I wanted to like it. I really did.
Parts of it, again, the moment with Jared Leto toying with the cops, the tension there, it's great. When Denzel snuck into the house, and then
that's good.
Like he calls the cops and says, "Hey, there's a cop and a body in this place," and Denzel hears it over the police scanner, and then Rami Malek's watching. And he looks over, and Jared Leto's across the street just watching, like drinking a margarita.
And then he looks up and he sees Denzel on the roof.
Yeah, and he's just and he's just got like a goofy grin on his face. Like he's just enjoying the fuck out of everything.
In that moment is when we get the most confirmation, if there is any, whenever Denzel finds those newspaper clippings.
Yeah. Well, and there's a few other, like, it's circumstantial, but there's like when at one point when Denzel is following Jared Leto, he sees him going to he sees him shopping, and this is right after we found out like that whoever had killed this one chick that was a vegan, like force-fed her like roast beef. Mm-hmm. And he goes into like a roast beef shop.
Which I was like, remember my movie idea? But
yeah.
I was kind of like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, I did.
Go on.
But you'll notice at one point when he's kind of following Jared Leto through it's before Jared Leto does the whole car thing at the end on the highway. And which is kind of, I was like, I didn't hate that actually. It was kind of a funny way for him to reveal he was aware of him.
I didn't hate it either.
But he goes into a roast beef shop at one point.
Oh,
and that's right after we had heard that. So there's all these little things that they do.
Of course.
And he's working at the appliance shop, and there was an appointment that got canceled according to the employee, which was Jared Leto. But all the signs pointed to him coming over and deciding to kill her instead of fix her fridge. And then like, there's so many levels of like,
there is a lot.
They even like, oh yeah, he's a confirmed fingerprint, but he's only got, we need 12 to say it's a confirmed match, but we have 11.
I actually liked when that guy was being a smartass, and he was like,
I did too.
Guy right here, and he was like, I'm the killer,
but
But
again, that's like,
that was good.
And then Denzel, or no, Rami Malek, I guess, like pulls him up and like,
threatens
him or whatever. And it just,
I liked it though. I was like, that's a good point.
I did like it. I did. It was good. It was fine. To me, it was, I don't know. It just felt like this movie had some good things going on and then some horribly bad things going on, and they were trying to play off each other, which just made both worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, again, it's unfortunate that these kind of movies, these types of movies come out with this type of quality, because it makes me feel like we won't get them in the future.
Right.
People won't take a chance on them, especially when you have these big like actors involved.
Because all of the money and the actors, it should have been a good movie. You just need a good script.
Yeah, it's where it fell apart.
And it wasn't a good script.
Yeah.
Denzel's dialogue, I did not think it was most of the time just convoluted and just like wordy for no reason. And just like, it felt like it kept having these moments where it wanted to have these like almost like deep emotional character moments with Denzel where we like see into his heart or something. But then it's just cheesy shit, tropey like, I'm your, whatever. He's like, I'm your angel, or like, I'm gonna like find the killer. It's just like, it's all stuff we've seen before, done better. We've seen detectives being haunted by past cases.
Yeah, everyone, I've started thinking about it as we're talking about even more the Seven comparisons. Yeah, and like at the very end, they go to like an area
very similar.
There is,
except there's a good, satisfying reveal in Seven.
There is some similar things in it, but to me, they're radically different. It's so different.
It's not. I'm not sure why. The only comparison is they're both very moody serial killer films that take themselves very seriously, that are trying to be like, that try to have a plot twist of some kind. Like it's the same genre. It's trying to be the same genre.
Yes.
And so I think the comparison is worthy there. It's not. I read another article. Like, there's been a lot of comparisons to Seven, obviously, because of a lot of things similar. But the director was like, "Oh well, I wrote this in 1993, so I actually wrote this before Seven came out." Which is just like, you could just lie about that, and no one would know.
That's also another problem, is that the movie kind of feels like it was written in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of,
but not in a classic homage, vintagey way, in like a oh yeah, we got better at making movies since then way.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it doesn't feel like if you read something in the 90s, that's great. I'll probably like it, but you do got to update it at least on some level.
Yeah.
Maybe intelligence level or something for modern viewers. You got to do something to make it feel modern.
I even think if they just kept maybe the basic same plot and just removed the melodramatic emotional things they were trying to make happen, just make it a cut and dry serial killer plot where they don't find him in the end.
I mean, here's what you do.
And like
you do what I thought was going to happen, where you have three people. You have Rami Malek being the new guy, Denzel being the old guy, and you had this other suspect.
Yeah.
You make Rami Malek suspicious of Denzel.
Sure.
That's what you do. And you have a cat and mouse between all three of them. And instead of having them buddy buddy.
That could be interesting.
That's
what
what
I think you could basically take the script and take out the mushy, like trying to be bigger than a serial killer plot, but it's not. It fails to be anything big.
Sure.
Like it feels like this, like we're trying to be bigger than a serial killer, like a character piece. Just take that shit out. Like tighten up some of the camera work. Like you're right. That reveal scene is just. It looks like a TV movie or a TV show reveal scene.
It was really bad.
Like just Denzel's like in a dark behind a bush, and yeah, there was some good moments of color and composition.
That was really just it was almost like jarring how different it was to me.
It was, yeah. So I mean, I think if you just basically take out the stuff that's convoluted and not working, and then just and focus on the plot, focus more on finding the serial killer. And then if you want to have an ending where they just don't find him and they cover it up, and you want to make like kind of a thematic commentary on that through the way you wrap up the movie, I think that could work. I think that could be just better than what's here. But I think because of all this, like it's bogged down by trying to be bigger than it is. And it ends up failing to be anything good because it's like trying to be like, it's trying to be almost like Seven. Like, and a big part of Seven is too, it's very philosophical. It's all about like the belief in humanity and like, are humans worth believing in? And like that's all of like Morgan Freeman's journey in that film is like, this city's like garbage and it's not worth fighting for. It's just, there's so much filth everywhere.
It's not fair to compare them because Seven's so good. I mean, Seven is
fair because this is trying to be like Seven in that way.
It has so many.
This is trying to have some sort of philosophical commentary.
It's a different league, though, and also they're just different.
It is a different league, but I mean, the cast. I mean, just based on the castings, it had comparable cast in terms of quality and popularity.
It does.
Like it has comparable hype. Like it's getting a lot of media. It got a lot. I mean, you don't see a lot of murder, like serial killer films, getting a lot of like press or lots of ads and stuff. I think
part of that is just our lack of content lately. You know
Maybe
what I'm saying?
So. But
I think, obviously this movie came out in January. Granted,
it's a January movie.
It's pandemic and everything else. And those movies have their place. They can make money if done correctly.
Wasn't last year's, it may have been February, but The Invisible Man.
I like that movie.
That's a great movie. I liked it a lot. Good little horror film. I think that was January. It may have been February.
Yeah, I think it was February.
Yeah, it was early February
for the pandemic. Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, I see what you're saying.
It is. I think you have to compare it to Seven because it's trying to make similar. I'm not trying to compare the plot directly.
I know what you mean.
And the quality is, there's not even a point in starting the comparison on quality.
If you compare it, it falls in every single way. To me, it's more comparable to like Along Came a Spider, and you probably those are all other 90s thrillers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's Morgan Freeman, I believe, and that's yeah, and which is also fair enough.
But I'm saying, like, I feel like it's trying to be. I mean, you're right. It is it's not unfair to compare it to Seven because Seven's just the best of that genre. I think to me, the Seven is the 10, and everything else is judged based compared to that.
I would agree.
So you have to judge it by that to kind of feel. But it's like it fails to be what a lot of Seven copycats, there's been shit ton, have even failed to be, which is just good Seven copycats, basically.
Yeah.
You know, like taking the Seven formula and doing it differently.
Seven also, what's different about Seven versus other serial killer films, in my opinion, is that Seven has, you're right, these philosophical questions.
I mean, the movie is about humanity, and is humanity worth fighting for when it gets to this ugly,
most movies
horrible point
like this in the genre, they end with a killer being kidnapped and the hero's going home happy, or they might be changed a little bit, but they're the same status quo typically.
And even the fact that Seven takes place in a non-named city, like it's kind of takes this. It kind of becomes
we could do a whole podcast.
I know,
on Seven.
but it's almost like a fable.
It is.
And it's like
it even opens up with like a quote or something, or like,
and even Morgan Freeman is like, his whole thesis throughout this film is like, you just got to, like, there's no point in staying here. It's just, it's horrible. And it feels like it's an allegory for many cities. I mean, just where cities where there's crime. It could be allegory for Little Rock at times in history.
I always think it's an allegory just for life itself.
And it can be that too.
It's like, basically life. The way I always took it, see, we're talking about Seven now, but it's a better movie. Morgan Freeman basically is, he's on the way out. Like he doesn't want to live anymore. He doesn't want this job anymore. Brad Pitt, of course, is up a newcomer. He's feisty. He's want to do all that kind of stuff. And they end up switching roles at the end of it. I mean, like, I can't remember. Why does Morgan Freeman feel hope at the end? Is it because
I think he cares about Brad Pitt. He obviously cared about Brad Pitt's wife. Yeah. And is very shaken by that. I think even for me, the big line is like, we'll take care of him, is what someone says to him, or he says to someone. It's like, I think he feels like there's people that he cares about enough to stay and fight for, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
That's how I feel it.
Yeah. Because obviously Morgan Freeman, his narration changes at the end where he's more hopeful at the very end.
And he says, I'm going to stick around.
Yeah, I'm going to stick around.
I'll be around.
Yeah.
Like kind of this idea that he's going to try to help where he can, or try to, he's going to keep on fighting.
Yeah. It is a sad ending. Brad Pitt really gets fucked over and everything. Horrible. Which you wonder why I like it so much, but I'd love it. It's a good movie.
Well, I think that's, it makes itself distinct in that way too.
It does. It does.
All that to say, back to the little things. I mean, I just want to keep talking about Seven, honestly.
Me too. Let's do a podcast on that later.
But on the little things, it wants to be so much more than it is. And in failing to be that, it's very poor quality, in my opinion. Man, if you're just like crazy Jared Leto or Rami Malek or Denzel fans, maybe these performances are enough to watch this film, to go out and watch it.
Good performances.
But I don't think the performances do enough to make the movie worth watching.
I think,
personally,
we could have made a better movie. At least we could have wrote a better script.
Easily that part.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
know about the movie part. With a lot of money and time and experience and help. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. With the camera and all. Yeah. No, but I think we could have made a better script though.
Yeah. There's just 1,000 more interesting things to do with the ending of the story. I feel like there's 1,000 better ways to subvert expectations or give a twist or even just handle what they did differently.
I mean, the big thing is they were trying to be different, to stand out from the pack.
Yes.
But by being so different, not even so different, just by not being satisfying.
It's like trying to be different, and it's basically trying to say like, you know what, you shouldn't care about who did this. That's basically the movie talk. Is like, you shouldn't care who actually murdered. You shouldn't care if it was Jared Leto or not. That's not important. What's important is Denzel and Rami are brothers now, and Denzel's, he hasn't really changed, but he's now lying to Rami to make him feel better and hope he doesn't go into trauma, which is actually really poor advice from every standard of mental health that exists. So I guess this was set in the 90s, so they didn't know about mental health, but that seems like a really poor excuse for just stupid what feels like unsatisfying plot.
It's just the movie. It's not understanding what it is ultimately what it boils down to.
I mean, to me, when I look at the director, I'm like, yeah, he directed all these kind of feel good, everything ends happily, like The Blind Side and The Rookie and these movies that are about like happiness. It's just like
one other thing I want to bring up. And again, I went into the movie thinking that Denzel was going to be going to be the killer. Actually, I kind of kept thinking this. For some reason, at the very end on his hotel bedroom, there's the boots.
Yeah,
and for a second, I was like, wait a minute, because the girl mentioned he's wearing nice boots in the beginning of the movie. That the killer wearing nice boots, and then they deliberately show us a shot of nice boots on Denzel's on his bed.
Right. I'm looking at the
and so I was like,
I remember that.
I was like, are they implying, like I thought originally, that he could be the killer, or are they in that way? It's like he's this cop that did.
They're not the boots that he has, like fancy cowboy boots.
That's what he wears in. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But these are not like in the beginning of the film with the guy catching. He's like wearing like military work.
Sure, but anyway, there's something there though that they're trying to. I thought they're trying to imply something, showing those boots on the bed.
It seemed to have some sort of significance.
And didn't you mention it? And maybe I missed. This is like the worst podcast ever. Did you mention earlier that he was taking boots in or evidence or something for something?
That was the original.
I'm asking,
the
I don't
origin of the
remember that.
movie or the beginning of the, and maybe that's what they were.
That's
He
what
had
I'm
to come
asking.
to get boots that had been
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
used in
Signifying
a
his time.
testify.
Okay.
Basically, they were like, we need it for something, but now you need to take it back where you're from. I don't remember the specific. but-
Okay, maybe that was what it was. When I saw it, I thought, are they trying to imply like he also killed somebody or something initially?
No, I don't. But it was it felt like the shot gave unusual significance to the boots.
To me, that's what I was
I
thinking.
I
Yeah.
agree. It was a little
because
confusing.
they were also the way they were lit. They were brighter than everything else in the shot. It was just it felt like it was
right,
significant.
and they're like very colorful.
Yeah, exactly. In the patterns. Anyway, I just thought it had a lot left to be desired, of course. I wish it was a banger. It was not a banger.
No, I was really hopeful for just a good. I mean, I would have been happy with just a classic serial killer film. Just
man.
give me a good, give me good creepy crime scenes. Give me a good creepy killer. Give me a nice like decent twist. I don't need something crazy. Just give me a little twist of something. Good. We're good. I'm happy. I'm down. Like I like those movies a lot. I was just kind of hoping for just a kind of a little more cookie cutter. Even just I would have enjoyed that.
What if Denzel? He had never killed an innocent person. What if he was the killer?
Oh, you know,
and then Jared Leto reveals he's the killer to Denzel, and Denzel's like, "I'm also a killer."
Don't you remember too
kills
that
him.
like Denzel tells Rami that he's never killed someone or never fired his weapon?
I think so.
He says that, which is now, I guess, it's just a lie.
Yeah, of course.
But that felt like a weird scene too. I don't know, man.
The movie's got
I
weird
don't know,
scenes in
man.
it.
It just the
Let's
tone
move on.
is just completely all over the place.
We've actually talked way more about this longer than I thought.
Well,
we
you know
would.
what? It has issues, and sometimes issues need to be worked out through talking.
They do. Do you think? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Let's do our info in a separate pod.
Huh?
We'll do the news in a separate.
I'm not even worried about it.
Okay,
Honestly,
cool.
I'm not even worried about it.
We're gonna give some news and some stuff, but this is taking up a lot of time.
It'd take a long time. I'm not worried about it. Daniel, how can our listeners write into us?
You can write into bit.ly/241mail. There, let us know if we missed anything. Because I'm honestly, I watched this movie and I'm like, maybe I missed something. Maybe it's brilliant. And that was my first reaction. I was like, wait, did I miss something? Did I miss some giveaway? Anyway, did you figure this out better than me? Or Donovan, I would like to know. Please let us know. Comment below on the YouTube or on the Facebook link, whatever it is, or write into bit.ly/241mail. Let us know if you had any insight to this mystifying movie. And if you have anything else to say, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to read it. We do still check that, right?
Oh, we're supposed to talk about Joel's
Oh,
comment.
that's right. Yeah, Joel.
Podcasts.
We'll get to it.
Hey,
I have no idea what the context of the question is.
I have
anymore,
another
but-
question.
Okay,
about
sure.
Mandalorian. I think another question about the movie real quick. Sorry, not to.
Yeah,
do
no,
this.
I'm fine. Let's do it.
Okay. I know that he digs multiple holes, but we don't get an impression of how many holes he digs.
No.
Or they digs that many. I got
There's quite a few when it zoomed out.
Well, I got the impression that Rami Malek was digging tons of holes in between Denzel leaving and coming back, and he was like having a mental breakdown just digging holes.
He was looking for the body. He was trying to prove to himself that Jared Leto really did it.
Oh.
That was how I felt.
I thought he was just digging a hole for Jared Leto, and he was just like having mental breakdown, just digging tons
I think
of
he
holes.
was still looking for the body. He still wanted to be. He wanted to prove to himself that he hadn't killed an innocent
That
man.
makes sense, but also I don't feel like the movie made that clear. You know what I'm saying? Like that makes sense.
I got that a little. Just I guess basic on
it
what
makes sense.
Denzel told him to do, and then what he actually did when Denzel comes back from doing all the shit he did.
It's just weird because the action. It's a weird thing. That's weird. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button below the notification bell. That way, you're up to date on all future episodes of 2 for 1. We have 2 for 1 collectors on Mondays. We have 2 for 1 backflash on Fridays, and of course, the podcast anywhere in between. We have all of our social media platforms in the description below, and please follow those. I'm really tired.
I know. Yeah.
Also, we
we took some sexy headshots today, so
we did. Look out for those.
Yeah, look out for that.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we talked about this. I'm wondering.
It's nice to have a new movie to talk about, like a new release.
It is.
That feels great.
Nice.
Actually,
I feel like the next. Oh, you know what the next movie is? I thought we might talk about.
What was that?
It's the Messiah one. It's on HBO Max also, but it's a great trailer. It's
Messiah
the
one?
Black Panthers.
Oh no, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah,
Hell
that
yeah!
comes out-
Ever since I saw that trailer, I was like hooked.
Reviews dropped today for it, and then
Are they good?
They're decent. Yeah,
I mean, it
like
looks
8s to 9s.
I mean, the cast is like some of my favorite actors right now. Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
that's
God.
like in
He's so good.
2 weeks, I believe that movie drops.
It's
so
soon. It's
week and a
sooner than
half.
there's quite
it's
a
February
few of
12th.
upcoming movies actually,
I think
which
it's-
feels strange. You know
well,
what I'm saying?
we got stuff coming. We got Mortal Kombat. We got Godzilla versus Kong. We got some other stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we do like a cool.
Ooh, Godzilla versus
maybe
Kong. We
we-
got to do some
maybe-
shit cool for that.
Well, we're definitely going to review that, but maybe
Yeah.
we could do like what we do next week. What we tease our viewers real quick. I'm sure they care.
I mean, you usually do the schedule, dude. I don't know.
I was just trying to think right now.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, WandaVision. We could do a checkup on WandaVision.
I thought
Because
about that.
WandaVision's gotten more interesting.
We've got 3 more episodes. I did make a thumbnail for that just in case.
So we
I
could
got
do
more.
like a mid-season and then do a finale one
I
with the
thought about
last
that,
two.
Yeah, cool. We do that, and then by the time
We could
Messiah,
bring Travis on for the last one too. He's been watching it. Want to?
I haven't watched
stream it.
the new trailer review.
No, I'm not going to.
I don't think
I want to wait
either.
for the episode.
Normally I like to, but I think
I
I'm
don't.
gonna
I don't
wait.
need mid-season teasers. I'm already hooked.
Yeah,
I don't need to be teased.
it's weird because it's Marvel. Normally I watch all that stuff. We got Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out
Oh yeah.
in a month, almost a little over a month. That's the thing I was going to show you. Did you see Jared Leto's Joker today?
What about? No.
They showed like a tease for him.
He's in the movie. That's right. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm whatever. I never really liked Jared Leto's Joker.
I want you
He
to see
was
it.
too edgy. He was edgelord Joker.
It was
And edgelord Joker
that was the image that they were.
that doesn't look like Jared Leto Joker as much to me.
It doesn't. He's got long hair. It was
Yes,
like,
that looks like fucking
the Joker.
No, that looks like
Joaquin Phoenix.
no. Well, yeah, more like Joaquin Phoenix.
He's actually got a smile this time. It was like his nose is missing to me. He's got like, I mean, he looks creepy.
It looks way more like Joaquin Phoenix or even fucking
Or not, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
That's strange.
I mean, I'm glad because this sucks.
But I mean,
this right here sucks.
how did they reshoot a bunch of scenes, or did they add?
You know
are
what
we
I'm
getting
gonna
a
do?
mustache gate but with long hair?
I hope so. You know, we should. No, I mean, they did. This is brand new. They just
Excuse
shot
me.
this like 2 months ago. So it's like additional footage.
Okay.
You know, what we should do. We should watch Suicide Squad.
Why?
I can talk about it with somebody.
The one that came. Wait, does it come out as a new one?
No, the bad one. This one.
Oh,
This one. Where Jared
they're
Leto
remaking
finds
it though with
It's
James
not-
Gunn,
It's not a remake. It's a sequel.
which is strange because it feels like a remake.
It's a
in
recall.
tone.
The reboot sequel. It's a recall.
Is that what they're calling it?
That's what I'm calling it.
Okay.
I'm a trend center. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. My name is Donovan Thompson.
I am Daniel Wingfield.
And we have spoken.